Steve Wilson is going to make him finish on lane 33, where if he had any trouble, that was it.
No question about it. And this is really a great decision by a young player. And, you know, he hasn't had a lot of television experience, but he's pretty relaxed. He was making good shots in practice, and he's got his hands full with a great player, two-time bowler of the year, Walter Ray Williams.
Boy, he moved in deeper there on that lane 33.
He did, and he made a great shot, a great opening shot, and that's the way you want to play Walter Ray. You've got to put the pressure on him early. You don't want him to get up there with that free swing and let everything happen nice and loose, because he'll just run away from you with 4 or 5 strikes out of the box.
So what's he going to do on the left lane?
This would be fun to watch. I'm not even sure if Walter Ray is positive of what he's going to do right here. He's got that look in his eyes, like you can see him looking down the lane right now. He's looking down the lane now. What am I going to do here?
Well, I think he ought to take a page from Steve Wilson, you know, maybe just parallel everything in a little bit.
It's very possible he'll do that. He's capable of playing anywhere on the lane. He can make most any shot you want him to make, but he's more comfortable outside. He likes to play out. A little more side rotation there to get it down the lane and get more back end. And maybe
shot.
a little late, the 10-pin only, but it was a great shot.
So grabs the other ball, shoots the 10-pin, not known as Deadeye for nothing.
Yeah, well, and you know, it's kind of interesting because the strategy, if that's what it is, of Steve Wilson so far has worked well. Walter Ray did not strike in his opening shot on lane 33, which would have given Walter Ray even more confidence. Now Steve Wilson
and an early 10-pin lead.
Right. Steve Wilson with an opportunity to reverse that, take a 10 or 20-pin lead if he should go back-to-back strikes here. Be a great start for the young man against a great player.
Oh, light the 7-pin.
He's playing a little deeper than all the other players. By that I mean he's playing more toward the center of the lane, somewhere between the second and third arrow, it looks like. And we haven't seen anybody in that far up to this point. No one has even made a shot that far.
And even last night they weren't in there.
No one. Everybody played out. Some of them were in that far and throwing it out near the channel, but he's not getting it out that far. The lanes were hooking a lot more last night, I think, than they are right now. The players were playing a variety of different shots, and we're going to look at his style. And something unique in his arm swing is watch what happens to his wrist at the very peak of the backswing. You see he's got it cupped right now. But watch what he does at the top of the backswing. See how it relaxes and it opens up? But watch what he does at the bottom. He brings it back under and gets back into that strong position for the good rotation.
That's almost a little bit like it hit it, but it didn't knock it over, like Dave Husted did when he first came on tour when he was 18 years old.
Oh, really? See, I don't remember that. Dave Husted, when he was 18, was, you know, what happened 2 weeks ago? That's my problem.
Well, you know,
I remember he beat me in the BPAA US Open.
With some of these things, we remember decades past, but not the immediate past. So.
That's right. Well, good cover by Steve. He's making good shots. He get a good look at his wife, Sherry.
And they were just recently married, I think just last summer.
She's really a sweet young lady. We were introduced to her just before we went on the air. And Marc McDowell is married to a lovely lady, and so is Steve Wilson.
I asked Walter Ray how much longer he was planning on bowling.
Well, you bowled quite a long time, so did Earl, and there's several other players. David Ozil's still bowling pretty strong. I think another 5 years is reasonable, and if I can keep myself together and not lose my physical game too much and my mental game can hang in there, I think I can continue bowling for maybe another 10 years. As you know, Ernie Schlegel's still bowling, he's over 50.
Well, Walter carries the light walnut shot there.
Well, it's kind of interesting that he mentioned Ernie Schlegel, over 50 and still going well. Ernie Schlegel works hard in keeping himself physically fit to play. It's a tough game when you get to be that age. It's hard on your body.
What's amazing about Ernie is he almost does better on the national tour than he does the senior tour.
I think you're right. And John Handegard had another great week out here with the kids.
Boy, he's got those pins rolling around hitting the other pins, but they're not knocking them over.
Well, it's fast racks. We call those fast racks, Mike. Back in the days when you had pin boys, those would have been strikes back when you were learning to bowl.
Right. You're exactly right. I used to set pins now and then. It was a real experience bowling with a wood ball, though, Earl, I'll tell you.
It's not often you see a player that can be successful with that much of a little flip at the top and at the bottom in his wrist. In fact, I've never seen a really great player do this. It's a very unique style of play. Obviously, it works very well for Steve Wilson. That little flip at the top and the bottom. It's kind of unique.
Well, didn't work very well there as he leaves the 6-7-10. Steve Wilson digging himself a big hole right here in the 5th frame. Our second match. Walter Ray already leading by 12 going into that frame. He has to make this, Earl.
He's got to give it a shot, but the important thing is he has to remember he's got a lot of frames to play yet. And Walter Ray still has to bowl 3 more times on lane 33, so it's not over by a long ways.
Well, he gave it a shot. Got right at that 6-pin, just missed. And Walter Ray up quickly, wants to pounce on that open.
Well, if anybody can do it, he can. And if you're wondering where all the lefties are this week, let me give you an idea of why they may not be here for you. Last week we had 4 lefties in the top 5, and a couple of weeks before that we had 5 out of 5, that kind of thing. This week, the PBA lane men, week after week, try to give the players a different shot to play with, something that's challenging, move it around on the lane and vary the condition. This week they used what they call a short oil condition. And when they do that, what happens then, the ball wants to hook a lot. So the players, a lot of them, went to urethane and plastic balls rather than the resin reactive bowling balls. So not as much oil was taken out of the head area, the first part of the lane by the right-handers, and it carried down the lane better, so it helped make the right side more playable. But there weren't very many lefties in the field, so they couldn't carry the oil down. So the right-handers dominated. Lefties couldn't keep up.
And right now, Walter A. Williams is dominating as he leads by 47 pins in this match. We'll be back for the completion of this right after these messages.
Possible to me. I'd like to see that happen. Wouldn't that be nice to be player of the year, only have to win 1 tournament?
Steve Wilson trying to get back on track here in the 6th frame. And the pins just won't cooperate. He leaves the hard 10.
Well, he's made a lot of good shots, in my opinion. He's moving around on the lane. He's adjusting well, and he seems to be trying to different things, and maybe a little deeper with that shot, a little more ball speed. Just can't seem to carry anything. And
just one mistake there in the 5th frame, and he paid the full penalty. Converts the 10-pin, and we're already getting into the stage of what can he get if he strikes out. 223. Walter Ray going right now at almost a 230 clip. So
I'm impressed with Steve Wilson, though. He's made a lot of good shots, as I mentioned, and he seems to be pretty calm and pretty comfortable out there. He's thinking well. You can see the good, the steady eyes. He's not blinking a lot or anything, so he doesn't show a lot of nerves. He seems to be rolling the ball well. Just can't get the corners out. Another bad break. Can't put any pressure on Walter Ray Williams at all.
And he gives a wry smile there and says, well,
it's not
some
my day.
Days are like that,
It's not my day.
At the 7-pin, cross lane with a different ball. Taking time on every shot.
Spares really haven't been a problem. The players haven't had any problem with spares. That's why it was such a unique thing to see Marc McDowell whiz that spare early on in that match with Walter Ray Williams. It was just a lack of concentration more than anything else.
Well, Walter Ray, is he going to have trouble maintaining the concentration for the rest of this match?
No, he's a killer. He's got that killer attitude, and he wants to beat you as bad as he can beat you. He's trying to strike every ball he throws. He never backs down, never lets up.
Not happy with that hand release, leaves it 2-5.
Not an easy spare. He has a substantial lead. You can hear him talking to himself.
And he is mic'd, and so we
didn't say it very loud, though, did he?
And he converts the 2 and the 5. We see that list of our championship round appearances. Dave DeIntremont leading everybody, and Walter Ray and Parker and Mike Albee all tied with 6. DeIntremont's having quite a year this year.
He's having an outstanding year. He made the match play again this week. Unfortunately for him, he couldn't seem to really get it going and carry the corners. He did that a lot right there with DeIntremont. I watched him last night. He'd make good shot, leave 4-pin or the 10-pin.
Well, no,
I think he overhooked it.
That wasn't it. He's thinking about the Indians. That's what he's thinking about right now.
What?
DeIntremont, he's from Cleveland. He's like me. He's an Indians fan.
I see. Okay.
So, yeah, his concentration was distracted this week. That's it.
Is that what it was?
That's what it was. Steve Wilson trying to get concentration to get a few strikes here, and trailing by 45 with
well, you always learn, no matter what.
2.5 frames to go.
Even if you're getting trounced, as he might be right now, you can learn. You keep out there, you keep working, making shots, and you learn from this experience.
Well, he learned for a strike there. He's had a lot of success on the regional tour. I asked him, what's the difference between the regional and national tours?
Well, the guys out here are so much more experienced, and they're a lot tougher. It takes a lot more mental toughness out here from day to day, as opposed to a regional only a weekend, and that's the biggest difference. These guys are are just extremely tough.
And we see Walter Ray leading by 45 pins, 9th frame. And finally, one of those light hits carried. He gets a double. He can still get 212. Well, Walter Ray, if he would have a disastrous frame here, and still not dead yet.
Well, I'm betting on Walter Ray.
Oh, well, you're a gambler, I'll tell you.
I don't think he's going to make that kind of mistake. He's just locked in on lane 34. And just whether matter or not, he has something drastic happen on 33. That's the only place it could happen, and by then it's probably too late.
Another solid 10, 2 in a row. Grabs that spare ball.
With a spare here, he's going at a 226 pace. The best Steve Wilson can do is 212. So Walter Ray not only would have to have a bad frame, but he'd have to lose a lot of count at the same time. That's possible. Walter Ray doesn't very often give anything away. I wouldn't be surprised to see him throw this one a little extra hard, and you know, the high hard one, the Ernie Schlegel high hard one at him right here.
Well, he needs 9 pins to shut him out.
A little more ball speed. Boom. See ya.
Got 10. He only needed 9.
He only needed 9, so
Paige,
you know.
says, well,
Paige took that deep breath of.
yeah, she's definitely used to that, because this is Walter Ray's 75th television appearance, and going into today, he was 59 and 61. So now he's won 2. He's even.
He's even. That's right. Yeah. You know, his ambition, you know, he's got a whole bunch of second place. I think he's like 23
second place finishes.
His ambition is just get even.
Get
as many wins as he's got second. I think he's like 15 and 23 or something like that.
That's right. Yeah. Did you ever get even? No, you were behind by 1.
I had to bowl the senior tour to finally get even. That's the only way I got even.
Tour did it for you. Huh? Oh.
45 and 45, but it took me 3 years on the senior, 4 years on the senior tour.
Oh, so you had how many seconds on the senior? 2 or 3?
2 on the 2 seconds and 4 first. So
2 seconds. Okay. And he converts the 7 pin, finishes with 226. Steve Wilson now finishing it out. Again, bowling for experience. He'll take home $4,500. Still not a bad week's paycheck. At 27 years old, it probably looks pretty good. It looked pretty good at 50-something. There he goes.
Best shot he's made all day, and it was really a good one. He finally got lined up a little deeper, you think?
Well, no, actually, you see him move his hand. He moved it this way, and I was assuming that he meant he moved another board right to get it up there flush.
I see. Okay.
But maybe. What do I know?
I'm fascinated by his wrist action. Really, I've never seen anyone do this on their strike ball consistently. I've seen guys do it on their spare balls, but not on their strike balls.
Looks over and says, well, if I just made that adjustment a little sooner, this 4 in a row, I could have caught this guy.
Well, you know, that's also a byproduct of bowling Walter Ray Williams Jr. When you bowl Walter Ray Williams Jr. or a Marshall Holman or a Mark Roth or Mike Durbin, people of that stature, you can't afford to make mistakes. And so when you know that, when going in, you feel more pressure. You feel like if I make a mistake, the match is over.
And he finishes with 5 in a row to finish out at 212, but still comes up 14 pins short. Walter Ray Williams Jr. So, Walter Ray Williams Jr. has won our second match. We'll be back with champion.